You are listening to Passport Talks, a podcast on how to become a true cosmopolitan, how to travel the world without visas, create a safe haven for your family, and access top-notch education and healthcare with a second passport or residency.
5 ways to get a Malta residence permit. Many wealthy non-EU citizens want to become Maltese residents for various reasons. For example, to travel across the Schengen area without visas, relocate to a European country, develop an international business, or have a safe place where they can go in case of an emergency or danger. Malta offers a path to achieve all those goals, as the country's residents can 1. Travel to other Schengen states visa-free for up to 90 days every 6 months. 2. Live in a country with a high quality of life, healthcare and education, and a warm climate. 3. Optimize taxes, as there's a 0% tax on foreign income if it is not transferred to Malta. Besides, Malta has no inheritance tax. 4. Use the services of international banks with a high level of financial security. 5. Receive additional income from renting out real estate in the country. The annual yield is 5% or more. How an investor can get a Malta residence permit. The fastest way to get it for the whole family is by participating in the state program for wealthy foreigners called the Malta Global Residence Program. It works only for third country citizens. Nationals of the EU, EEA, or Switzerland can participate in the residence program. A spouse, children under 25, siblings, parents, and grandparents can get residence permits too. But all family members, except for the spouse, must be principally dependent on the main applicant. An investor fulfills 4 conditions to participate in the Malta Global Residence Program. First, they must rent or buy housing in Malta. The rental price should be at least €8,750 or €9,600 per annum. A property for purchase must cost at least €220,000 or €275,000. The threshold depends on the region. It is lower for the island of Gozo and the south of Malta. Second, applicants pay an administration fee of €5,500 or €6,000 depending on the location of their rented or purchased housing. The third condition is health insurance for all family members participating in the program. And last but not least, the main applicant obliges to pay an income tax in Malta. Under the Global Residence Program, the investor pays a tax of 15% on income earned outside Malta and transferred to Malta. The minimum annual amount must be €15,000. The tax rate for income earned in Malta is 35%. Thus, an investor becomes a Maltese tax resident and files an annual tax return. There is no requirement to live in Malta permanently to remain a resident. However, one cannot spend more than 183 days a year in any other state. Another path for investors is to participate in the Malta Permanent Residence Program. Applicants must be over 18, have no criminal records or prosecutions, and no visa denials from countries with visa waiver agreements with Malta. Confirm the legality of the origin of money for investment. Own capital of at least €500,000, at least €150,000 of which are financial assets. Besides, applicants must meet other conditions to participate in the Malta Permanent Residence Program. 1. They rent or buy housing in Malta. The rental price is €10,000 or €12,000 per year, and property for purchase must cost at least €300,000 or €350,000. The threshold depends on the region. It's lower for Gozo and south of Malta. In addition, applicants pay an administration fee of €40,000 and a contribution fee. The latter depends on the housing. It's €58,000 if you rent it and €28,000 if you buy it. 3. The third condition is to donate €2,000 to a Maltese non-governmental organization. After 5 years as a Maltese permanent resident, an investor can rent or buy another housing without any cost requirements, but having a registered address in Malta will be mandatory anyway. Employment in Malta is another path to a residence permit. In the case of employment, A residence permit is issued with a work permit. Both documents must be renewed annually, and their validity expires with the employment contract. There are two types of visas for those who come to work in Malta: the regular work visa and the EU Blue Card. The latter is issued to highly qualified specialists with a salary of 50% higher than the industry average. The EU Blue Card is valid for at least 1 year. It can be extended for another year or the remaining contract period, plus 3 months. The next is a Malta residence permit for education and training. Students of Maltese schools and universities get 1-year residence permits with the right to prolong them within the duration of studies. A student shall provide a letter of admission from the higher education institution. It must include the institution's details, course details, settlement regarding the course-related fees, details on the accommodation provided by the institution, confirmation that the applicant has sufficient knowledge of the tuition language. After graduation, these students must look for a job in Malta to renew their residence permits. This way, graduates get residence permits under their employment contracts. Family reunification is a path for foreigners who have close relatives in Malta. Foreign spouses of Maltese citizens can get residence permits too. A residence permit to run a business in Malta. Why would you want it? Because Malta has a stable economic climate and an attractive tax system with lower taxes than many other European countries. For example, the corporate tax rate is 35%, but shareholders can get a refund. VAT is 18%. However, businesses registered in Malta must meet reasonably high capital requirements. 1. The minimum share capital of a Malta public limited company is €46,588. 2. The minimum share capital of a Malta private limited company is €1,165. Individuals must pay at least 25% of that capital when they form a company. Other types of residence permits in Malta are issued under particular circumstances. Suppose a person has lived with a Maltese resident or citizen for 2 or more years without registering their relationship. In this situation, they can get a residence permit in Malta. Proof of cohabitation and their or their partner's ability to cover living costs will be required. Residence permits are also issued for religious, medical, and humanitarian purposes. How to get a Malta residence permit by investment. The process takes 10 steps. The first is a preliminary due diligence when the information about the investor is checked against international legal and business databases. The second step is the conclusion of an agreement with Immigrant Invest. The third step is to collect and prepare documents to apply for a special tax status. Immigrant Invest lawyers list the required documents, and the applicant provides the originals. Lawyers submit them for translation and certification and fill out all necessary forms. At this stage, the investor pays the administration fee. The fourth step is fulfilling the program conditions. Lawyers prepare a property rental or purchase agreement, a letter from the tax service, and state forms. The investor provides a statement from their bank account showing a balance of at least €30,000. At this stage, the investor and their relatives included in the application visit Malta to submit biometric data. After that, Immigrant Invest submits the application to the Inland Revenue Department of Malta for due diligence. Once approved, the main applicant gets an individual tax number and must travel to Malta for an interview. An interview takes place in an informal setting. The director of the Malta Revenue Department will present the program's terms to the applicant in person. The main applicant must be able to explain in English why they chose Malta and what attracts them to this country. All applicants must come to Malta again to apply for residence permits and submit biometrics for ID cards. Family members over 18 can do it separately without the main applicant, but no later than 6 months after getting the insurance and rental agreement. Immigrant Invest lawyers accompany applicants. The application and the necessary documents are submitted to the Identity Malta Agency by appointment. The last step is receiving your residence permits. Identity Malta Agency processes applications within 5 to 6 weeks. After that, the agency sends a notification that the residence permit cards are ready. At this point, all applicants must come to Malta to personally pick up residence permits from the Identity Malta agency by presenting the notification letter. Contact Immigrant Invest if you decide to obtain a Malta residency by investment. Our experts will carefully study your circumstances and goals, select the appropriate option, and accompany you throughout the process.
That's it for today. This has been Passport Talks, a podcast on how to become a true cosmopolitan. The link to the text version is in the description. To learn more about second citizenship and investment programs, visit our website, immigrantinvest.com. Follow Passport Talks and stay tuned for new episodes on all available platforms. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.